Zachary David Stevens, my guy. The Broncos are back, baby.
The Broncos are so back, and guys, this game was beyond massive. This is as big of as a Week 5 game as you can have, and the Broncos just did it because I know you guys have already talked about how Bo Nix has arrived. This was his moment. We'll get into that. But also, Cortland Sutton arrived. Nick Bonitto arrived. The Broncos defense closed out a game. The Broncos offense came in when it mattered most, and the Sean Payton Broncos have arrived. They just won the toughest game in the entire NFL this entire season. We talked about it entering the game. We did not shy away from that. How the Broncos are playing the undefeated Super Bowl champs on the road on a short week. The Broncos made it even more difficult for themselves by getting in a 14-point deficit entering the fourth quarter, and Bo Nix said, I'm not going out like that. Led not one, not two, but 3 scoring drives, went 3 for 3, and they were all exactly how you wanted them to look, including the very final one, where it's 11 plays, takes nearly every single second off the clock. And guys, this is the moment for Bo Nix, because when it comes to Bo, it had been 39 years since the Broncos had beat the Eagles in Philadelphia. You know who was the quarterback of that team? John Elway. And that was John Elway's first Pro Bowl season. Dare I say, this could spark that for Bo Nix as well. That's how big of a win this is for the Broncos. It was unbelievably difficult circumstances, and the Broncos and Bo Nix did it absolutely cold-blooded all the way around, including starting from the top with Sean Payton going for 2 at the end of the game when they did not need to. And you could just tell that the Broncos were absolutely going to convert. And we could talk about that. And let's just dive into it right now. The reason that Sean Payton went for 2 is he said, I just knew we were going to get it. We were rolling, we had the momentum, and I had the play calls. Sean said he left 4 play calls that he loved in his back pocket. He burned them because of the way the game went, and he was so frustrated. That was the thing he was most frustrated about with this game, is that he had 4 more calls that he really loved, and the 5th one was the one that he used on that 2-point conversion to Troy Franklin. How about Bo going to Troy on that? By the way, another guy that stepped up and had his moment and he arrived, Cortland Sutton, and he's a Pro Bowl receiver already, but this is that step to take him over the top. He comes up big, 8 catches on 10 targets for 99 yards. Okay, guys, I'll finally let you ask me a question.
Zach, talk a little bit, man. Great to see you, bud. Love the energy. Talk a little bit about the energy that was in the locker room, man. What was it like just being in the locker room? What was Club Dub like? What were the smiles like? What were people saying in the locker room? Just give us a little bit of insight on the energy in the locker room.
Well, Benny, it's a great question. You couldn't see in Club Dub. The smoke machine, they brought extras. They brought in backup for this comeback.
You sure that was the machine?
I don't know what it was, but it was a good party in there. And I'll tell you what's going to be a good party is that plane ride to London. I'm bummed that I'm on an American Airlines flight, not on that charter, because that is going to be insane. DJ Jones was asked about what this win means for the plane ride to London. He said, oh my goodness, I can't even tell you. That's going to be so awesome. Club Dub was awesome. Sean Payton was doing his press conference right outside of Club Dub, and I kid you not, for the entire 13 minutes that Sean Payton talked, which is a very long time, shows you the type of mood he was in after the game, the door was vibrating because of how loud the music was. An incredible environment, but what I will say, the Broncos are celebrating this, but they're not treating it like they just accomplished the ultimate goal, and I wasn't sure if that was going to be the case, and that's the mindset of this team that I absolutely love, because Nick Bonitto, Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton, Sean Payton said this after the game. They said, we did not come here to play a close game. We did not come here to give the Philadelphia Eagles a scare. We came here to win this game. And Sean Payton looked at the locker room and said, who are you afraid of? And the room was quiet. That just shows the mentality of this team, and that's what this win does. It's not just all talk. This win gives you the confidence. Yeah, bring on the Chiefs. We'll go into Arrowhead at Christmas night and beat them. The Chargers, who we just lost to a couple weeks ago, we're not afraid of them, especially after this game. And guys, another reason why this win is so big is the Broncos just dumped that demon off of them, of not being good in close games, of not being able to beat good teams under Sean Payton. They just broke all of that. So this win, huge for this year, by the way. We haven't even mentioned how the Broncos are 3-2, and they have a very long stretch of very, very winnable games right now. And now that the Broncos did beat the Eagles, you can start looking down the road. They got the Jets next week and the Giants and the Cowboys, but we're focusing on this game right now and this win. I do think that this win is going to be one that we look back in 10, 15 years, and we're talking about Bo Nix having a great career and saying, man, this was the one that really not turned it around for Bo, that allowed him to take off. And the exact same thing for Sean Payton. And this is a Bo Nix and Sean Payton team that went to the playoffs last year and got that demon off of them. This win is bigger than any of them.
Zach, apologies if we ask you anything that you already talked about. We're having a very hard time hearing you. So if I ask you a question that you already answered, just pretend like I asked another question and answer that. The 2-point conversion. I think it's one of the biggest moments of the Sean Payton era. I think it was an incredible statement of confidence in the football team, and I think that confidence that Sean instilled in the team helped them to get over the hump and close out a close game. What did Sean say about why he called that and why they went that direction?
He was unbelievably confident, and that's why he did it. And he said that he knew that the play was going to work. And you could tell when the Broncos lined up in their formation that they knew it was going to work. And the reason that he knew it was going to work was because they knew that Quinyon Mitchell was going to line up across Cortland Sutton. So the play was always designed to go to the right side where Troy Franklin was because they knew they had the matchup there. And Sean Payton said, I'm sorry if you guys have heard this already, but Sean Payton said he left the game with 4 plays that he absolutely loved in his back pocket. He said that's what frustrates him the most out of this game is that he had 4 great plays that he didn't get to use, but this was the 5th one that he did get to use against this Eagles defense. And now he says, we don't play this defense for a long time now. He didn't say this, but maybe until the Super Bowl. After this when you can start thinking that we don't play this defense for a long time, and now I don't get to use these 4 plays, kind of wasted. But Ryan, to answer your question on why he went for it, they knew exactly what they were going to get, and he knew that Troy Franklin was going to be open. He had all the confidence in the world, and not just both throwing it, but Troy catching it as well, and that's exactly what happened.
Hey, Zach, I have a question, man. What did Sean say that changed in the second half with the offense? What got the offense going? What got them back in rhythm?
Well, it's a great question, Benny. And actually, Sean Payton didn't really say anything changed. In fact, he told the team at halftime, we've got him right where we want him. And then in the fourth quarter, maybe he didn't feel that good about it as well. But he knew that if the Broncos were going to win, it was going to be a lower scoring game. He loved the way the defense was playing. And how could you not? Nick Bonito was an absolute monster, and he just said, we need to get this game close, and we're going to win. And I'll tell you when it changed for the players, when the Broncos went down and had their first touchdown in the fourth quarter, that J.K. Dobbins run, that's when the offense said, look, we got the monkey off our back. We finally scored a touchdown. They knew that the defense was going to get a stop and that they were going to go score again. And the defensive side, they felt the exact same way. Just once the offense got going in the fourth, they knew that they were going to win that game. And it did get close at the very end, but they said that they had no doubts at the end that the Broncos defense was going to come up with a stop there, and they certainly did. So, Sean, surprisingly enough, at halftime, when the Broncos have 100 yards of offense, they have so many penalties, they were still able to come away with the win, and he felt good at where they were at half. And, guys, just one more thing that I have to say before I forget it is these penalties, the Broncos were their biggest opponent again. And yet they were still able to go into the Super Bowl champion team, the one of 2 undefeated teams in the NFL, and beat them despite having over 100 yards of penalties. One, the penalties have to get corrected, but when they do get corrected, even if it's not perfect, if it's cut in half so it's 50 yards of penalties and 5 penalties, guys, this team is going to be very, very difficult. They're their biggest roadblock from being 5-0 right now. But I think we'll all take 3-2 after winning this game.
Absolutely, Zach. We always start the show with the 3 of us with our biggest takeaway. What is your biggest takeaway from this game?
I mean, it's Sean Payton and Bo Nix's team have completely arrived. And like I said earlier, guys, this is going to be the game that we look back on and say that was the biggest win of Sean's victory until they won the AFC Championship game, until they won the Super Bowl. And we're going to say the exact same thing for Bo Nix. And I think a fun little storyline is that the last time that the Broncos beat the Eagles in Philadelphia, John Elway was the quarterback of his first Pro Bowl season. I think that's going to be a fun one for Bo Nix following moving forward. And those are massive shoes to fill. But you just win a game like this with 15 points, I guess actually 18 unanswered points scored in the fourth quarter against the defending Super Bowl champs. Come on, why put the brakes on, right? And I heard you saying right before I joined that there's some people concerned or negative or not happy about this. What are we doing? This is the biggest win the Broncos have had in a decade since Benny Fowler was winning a Super Bowl with the team. This is the biggest win that the Broncos have had. Enjoy it. And it should only get more wins from here. But in terms of how big this is, guys, we got to go deep into the playoffs until we're finding a game that's bigger than this one. So enjoy it. This is huge for Bo. This is huge for Sean. This is huge for Courtland Sutton, who just came up big over and over and over again, especially after that drop that he had early in the game. He came up money in the fourth quarter. Bo Nix, Sean said on that 3rd and long that the Broncos converted, which was so big in the fourth quarter, Sean said, I knew because of Bo and how he was feeling, he was going to Courtland Sutton regardless of that play. Bo pushed back on it a little and said, well, I was going to read the defense, but then he went to court just because he trusts him that much. This is the biggest win of Courtland Sutton's career as well. And then how about Nick Bonito? 2.5 sacks. Guys, Nick Bonito, I believe, only trails Elvis Dumervil for the most sacks in Denver Broncos history through 5 games with a 2.5 sack performance. Yes, that's more than Vaughn ever had. And we know Vaughn has 18.5 sacks. That's a franchise record. Nick Bonito is on pace to break that. Nick Bonito is playing incredible. And I didn't get to talk about the defense enough, so I'm just going to take this opportunity that you guys are having to rock and roll with it, because this defense, guys, they did exactly what they needed to do. At first, it was like, where's the pass rush? Oh, the pass rush is keeping Jalen Hurts in the pocket, forcing him to be a throwing quarterback, not allowing him to escape to create the type of plays he does with his feet, and then with his feet that turn into the arm throws. And then it transitioned where the pass rush just put that much more on it, where they were containing Jalen, but then also getting to him. That sack by Nick Bonito and Zach Allen was huge. And then Nick Bonito just came up big time and time again. They got after Jalen Hurts 5 times. That's not easy to do against a mobile quarterback. That's not easy to do against Jalen Hurts. That's not easy to do, to bring the guy down that can squat, 700 pounds. We didn't see one tush push. The Broncos did exactly what they needed to do about keeping the Eagles out of 3rd and short. Guys, it's an incredible win, especially where the vibes were entering the fourth quarter. I mean, imagine if this fourth quarter didn't happen. We're talking about completely different things, but it did. And one more thing that I got to talk about is Sean Payton, guys. He just got the win that took him past Bill Parcells for the most regular season victories in NFL history. He's now 15th and just passed his mentor. He was the one that got the game ball from Greg Penner after the game, and boy, does he deserve it. What a perfect way for him to pass Bill Parcells.
Love it, man. Great stuff, Zach. We appreciate you.
Zach, great to see you, bud.
We appreciate you traveling all across the world to cover this football team, and we will see you in London.
Oh, let's go, baby. The Broncos taking on the Jets next week. I can't wait for you guys to get out there on Wednesday. And, man, the Broncos are so freaking back. And they're not just back. They're taking off to the moon, guys. Let's go.
Let's go. Later, Zach.